I'm still not over what people were saying back then about this trade. The way everyone acted like the New York Knicks had just made a mistake of historic proportions, like they had somehow fumbled their future by bringing in Karl-Anthony Towns. And now, after everything that just happened, after the banner, after the championship run, it's honestly wild how quiet those same critics have gotten. Because let's be real here. When the Knicks pulled the trigger on that deal with the Minnesota Timberwolves, sending out Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, a first-round pick, in multiple seconds, the reaction around the league was brutal. People were laughing. Analysts were questioning everything. Even some Knicks fans weren't sure what to feel. And I get it, at the time, it felt like a massive gamble. But what I don't understand is how quickly people forgot what this franchise has been through. 50-plus years without a championship. 50-plus years of heartbreak, rebuilds, false hope, and almost seasons. And suddenly, when New York finally makes an aggressive move for a legit second star next to Jalen Brunson, everyone acts shocked that they weren't patient. Now, let me say this as clearly as possible, because I need every Knicks fan hearing this right now to feel the same way I do. That trade didn't just work, it changed everything. Karl-Anthony Towns didn't just arrive in New York to score points. He arrived to redefine what this offense could be. He gave spacing, he gave versatility, and most importantly, he gave the Knicks something they hadn't had in years. A front-court weapon who could punish teams in multiple ways. Stretch big, post-threat, rebounder, passer, all of it. And yeah, there were doubts. Even I'll admit it. Regular season KT has always been a bit of a roller coaster. You never fully know what you're going to get defensively, and sometimes his aggression comes and goes. But what happened in the playoffs? That was a completely different player. This man turned into a force. I'm talking about a version of Towns who wasn't just good for a big man who shoots threes. I'm talking about a guy who dictated matchups, who punished switches, who stopped hesitating in big moments, who actually embraced the pressure of New York basketball instead of shrinking from it. And I need people to understand how rare that is, because most players don't survive in this market, let alone thrive, let alone become a defining piece of a championship team. But KD did exactly that. And I still remember that moment in Game 4 of that playoff run against San Antonio. The Spurs had a chance to tie it up late. The pressure was suffocating, and Towns reads the play perfectly, gets his hand in the passing lane, and deflects the inbound just enough to seal the comeback. That's not highlight fluff. That's championship DNA showing up at the exact right time. That's the difference between a good trade and a franchise-altering one. And honestly, I'm tired of pretending like this was just luck. This was calculated aggression from the front office. Leon Rose deserved his credit, no question. He took risks that most executives wouldn't even touch. Bringing in Jalen Brunson when people said the contract was an overpay. Trading for OG Anunoby. Swinging for Mikal Bridges. And then making the biggest gamble of all with Towns. People called it reckless. Now it looks like genius. But here's what really puts this into perspective for me as a Knicks fan. This team didn't just stumble into a title. They earned it through adversity. They started that playoff run shaky. 2 losses in their first 3 games. Down 2-1 early against Atlanta. And I remember the panic everywhere. Social media was melting down. People were already writing the obituary. And then something clicked. 13 straight wins. 13. That's not a fluke. That's not random momentum. That's a team locking in and deciding that the story was going to end differently this time. And in the middle of all of that, Karl-Anthony Towns was not just participating. He was leading stretches of it. Against elite defenders, against elite bigs, against playoff schemes designed specifically to take him out of rhythm, he adapted. He punished mismatches. He defended harder than people thought he could. He rebounded like his life depended on it. And if you want the real turning point of the entire narrative, it came when he neutralized Victor Wembanyama early in that Spurs series. People don't talk enough about how important that was. 2 games in San Antonio, and KD made life miserable for one of the most unique talents the league has ever seen. Not just scoring over him, but controlling space, forcing tough angles, and setting a tone that told the entire league. We're not backing down from anybody. That's when I knew something was different. And I don't care what anyone says about Julius Randle or how he's going to be evaluated in Minnesota. The truth is simple. it didn't work in New York. The inconsistency, the inefficiency in big playoff moments, the frustration that fans felt watching possessions break down, it had run its course. We needed change, and we got it. Now look where we are. A championship, a parade, a team that finally ended decades of frustration, and a front office that, for once, refused to play it safe. What makes me even more fired up is how people keep trying to retroactively minimize what happened. Like this was some lucky run or a soft path or a one-off season where everything just broke right. That's nonsense. This was built, brick by brick, risk by risk, move by move. And Karl-Anthony Towns was the cornerstone of that final structure. He's not just a footnote in this story. He's not just a piece that fit well. He is the reason the ceiling was high enough for this team to break through. Without him, there is no title. Simple as that. And if you're a Knicks fan, you should be angry at how long it took for this franchise to finally commit to this level of aggression. Because for years, we watched other teams swing big while we stayed cautious. And now that we finally did it, look what happened. We're champions. So yeah, I'm going to say it directly. This trade was a masterstroke. A gamble that paid off in the biggest possible way. And anyone who doubted it at the time should probably sit this one out and just appreciate what was built here. Before I wrap this up, I want to say something straight to every Knicks fan listening right now. If this made you feel something, if this season reminded you why you stick with this team through everything, then hit that like button. Not for me, not for anyone else, but for the franchise that finally gave us something real to celebrate. And I want to hear from you in the comments too. Was this the most satisfying Knicks championship run of all time? Or does it top even your wildest expectations? Because I'll be honest, I didn't just enjoy this run. I lived it. Every possession, every comeback, every clutch moment. And now that we're here, I don't ever want this feeling to end. So go ahead, drop your thoughts below. Share how you felt during that title run. And let's talk about what comes next for a Knicks team that just proved the whole league wrong. And if you want more breakdowns like this, more reactions, and more honest takes on everything happening in New York basketball, make sure you're subscribed and staying locked in, because this story, it's not finished, not even close.